I'm Kim Nowak. In November of 2020, I had gone to my regular doctor. About 5 weeks prior, I had fallen and I was still in a lot of pain and hurting, and I thought maybe I had broken something or injured something worse. So they ordered a CT scan. When the CT scan came back, they found that I had two tumors in my right lung, one in the middle lobe towards my airway and one down lower in my lower lobe. They misdiagnosed me at first after biopsy and said that I had small cell lung cancer. A few days later, my radiation oncologist, after I'd seen her, she wasn't so convinced of that diagnosis, so she looked a little deeper into it and found that it wasn't growing as fast as to classify it as small cell lung cancer, but they felt it was a typical neuroendocrine tumor, which still not great, but didn't have to have chemo and radiation. Yay. So we went to Vanderbilt. They agreed that they felt that's what that was. So they scheduled my surgery for December 19th of 2020. After the surgery, they had found that I had typical neuroendocrine tumor that had grown into my airway and was growing into my lower lobe. He couldn't get clear margins. They ended up taking out both the middle and lower lobe, and then finding, when the path came back, that I had non-small cell lung cancer as well, and the other smaller tumor was an atypical neuroendocrine tumor that had metastasized to 5 of my 10 lymph nodes in the lung that did not pick up on PET scan. So we kind of had been on a roller coaster ride of, this is what it was, that's a horrible diagnosis, oh, this is better, it's not going to be so bad. And then it came back to, well, this surprised us, now we have to have chemo and radiation. So in 2021, I started the chemo and radiation. And prior to this, I worked full-time for a doctor, and on the weekends I did weddings, decor and design for weddings. I'd always been a multitasker, one that could multitask, you know. And so after my chemo, I had a lot of issues with my memory. And through my journey, I felt like I handled everything really well. Like I got up, learned the importance of self-care, keeping myself on a schedule, getting sleep, all of that, and having a positive thought every day, no matter what it is. You know, tell me something good that happened to you today. And if you can't figure something out, you found your favorite drink at the gas station, that's a positive, you know. But I always try to look for the positive in everything I do. And I felt like on my journey, I'd always been a healthcare provider, and I've always been empathetic. So I kind of looked at myself as a patient because I didn't want other people to hurt because I was hurting. So I handled my journey very well, I felt, you know, and I had tons of help, tons of support. It was amazing to be able to look back on your life and see the good that you've done for people and that come back to you. That was a beautiful thing. Then afterwards, I wanted to know when I could go back to work, when I could get back to doing everything, you know, and I was just gonna kill it. You know, I was just gonna go back and be my old self and be better. And I went back to work, and it was just so much more difficult focusing on one thing. And that's when I really started to have my problem, because taking care of someone was easy because I understood. But at the end, when I got to the part where it's not over, you step into recovery, and I just didn't think about that. I thought I was just going to step over recovery and everything was going to be fantastic. Well, a friend of mine who's a nurse, St. Vincent, suggested that I come here, that they might have a therapist that could help me work through that. So I looked online, called. God has touched me through this whole journey. Everything has been a blessing, even getting diagnosed. The people I've met, the way I've learned to deal with things and adjust. I never in a million years would have thought that it would have impacted me so much. I mean, walking in the door here, I feel calmer, like I'm in a safe place. I can just breathe. I can get a Dr. Pepper. I can can do whatever. But I go in there and she's very, I don't know, she just empowers me to be better. She makes me feel like that. And I'd always said, I realize I have to have a new normal. And one day she was like, but what is normal? Normal doesn't have to be what you did before. Normal can be what makes you happy, what makes you, and I said, well, this makes me happy. This makes me feel like I'm just blossoming. Like creatively, I feel stronger. It's hard to even explain the feelings that you get. But after a couple of sessions there, I got to thinking, the key word in new normal is new. It's not normal. You do the new and then that becomes normal to you. So at that point I thought, well, after 34 years, I'm going to quit my job in healthcare and I'm going to just focus on something creative that helps me be a better me, So I did that. A couple of days later, I came to see Amber and I told her what I did. And I'm like, I know it sounds like the crazy train, but it's really not. I mean, it feels like the right move, And so I did that. And I just feel, I don't know. I just don't, it's so hard to describe sometimes, to describe a feeling, but it's a feeling of being in a safe place, like the world around you melts away and you come in here and they understand you. They know what you've been through. They know how to deal with what you've been through. And I never expected that mentally there would be such a difficulty for me finding my new normal. But now that I have, it's just, they're part of it. Someone asked me today if they needed to come with me for moral support. I'm like, girl, they are my moral support. They're my family team over there. They are like ready for me. They're ready for me when I walk in the door. I said, I'm good. I mean, I'm just so good there. They have just done so much for me, for the new me, for the new normal that I'm finding, and it's exhausting at times. And I still have my memory issues and I still have to write things down, but things are better. Like they're normalizing for me, and there's just that. This whole time I said, this on this journey, this is just a bump in the road and you have to adjust accordingly. So now I just feel like I'm adjusting. I've adjusted. I didn't overcorrect. And if other people think they're overcorrecting, that's them. You need to think about you.